Welcome back to the OPL, and as you see there, mid laner, injured mid laner for Direwolves. Fantix seems to be stepping back into his role, despite the arm cast. He's overcoming his war bruises that he picked up on a basketball court. There we have it. Welcome back to the OPL. My name is Michael Hingersing, and I'm joined here at the desk by Ejim and Mendrix. And guys, looking at that lineup there, I'm seeing Fantix moving in. Do you feel like, and so Sybil's going to get benched, Schoenfire's going to play jungle. I want to ask you, Sybil missed a few ultis in that game, but how do you feel he played overall? It's a rough game.
I mean, he was solid in terms he was going around, he was getting the clear, he was there for his team when he needed to be, helped out with the objective play. But, I mean, one point that he picked up the first blood. I expected him to have a much more quicker clear, and then a bit questionable in him getting a double jungle item instead of going for more damage early. So I was a bit concerned about that choice of pick, but, in the end, he had a solid game overall.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it solid. He had he had a good scoreline, but he had a rough game. He missed the ultimate in top lane, the one in bot lane, and then there was another one somewhere on the map, I forget. But he also, in the fight that we had a replay of, where Chippy's just completely whiffed the Rumble ulti, and that kind of took the spotlight, right? Like the whole reason that happened was because Sybil was split from his team down below the dragon and got Maokai engaged on. And it was like, he was split. Obviously, I don't know, maybe a bit tilted and missing a few ults or something. Like he got caught, and that was like a result of a bad team fight. So, he's getting subbed out. Schoenfire's jumping in the jungle, and Fantix back in mid.
Yeah, we don't know that that's the reason they're subbing him out, though, because both Sybil and Juve said that, look, it's likely that Fantix is going to play again today, despite the injury. Now, it's on his keyboard arm, which means I think the struggle was going to be whether or not he can level up.
Change his keybinds.
Yeah, exactly. Just keybinds. Everything's controls now tilde. That's all you got to do.
Yes, dude.
Hard mode engage.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look forward to this game too, because we want to talk about about Jhin, because Jhin has been picked a lot this split, especially since 7.3 Mendrix. Just a lot of damage.
He's been picked heaps overall, but as you can see, 7.3 really seems to be the new favorite coming through. Varus also has been picked up a lot, and it just seems to be he's either the response or people are more than happy to go for Jhin first. And I mean, he's been performing amazingly. 7.6 for the KD, 7.66 for the KDA specifically, and a very high pick and ban rate.
But we saw Jhin not be priority picked as well though last game.
Yeah.
So that's weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's weird. It's weird in the meta. Like TLDR and Jhin and Varus is that Jhin is they're both build lethality, both very strong, but then Jhin has a better engage tool. He has the curtain call or the carpet call, as we like to call it, and he just opens up and then starts flinging bullets everywhere, right? And so he is a big engage tool AD carry. Sin preferred the Caitlyn. I think FBI is a big Caitlyn player. You see him a lot in solo queue. I imagine they've been scrimming with it. So it's a bit weird, in terms of the meta, that they just picked the Malzahar in the third pick just before the bans, and then Direwolves just immediately answered with the Ashen Jhin ban, because they were like, okay, you're gonna have to play a bad AD carry. We have the Jhin. I mean, we have the Varus. We have the lethality spike, and then you're gonna have to play a traditional AD carry.
Caitlyn,
but I think ultimately, Sin are fine with it. I think it was probably an intentional move, and they like the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
And the big trade-offs when you do go for the Jhin versus the Varus. Varus has more utility in terms of what he brings. You do have a decent chunk with Jhin when he decides to go for his ultimate, and that's a nice engage. But in terms of his scaling, his passive really does shine, and it makes him a bit stronger in terms of raw damage the later the game goes on.
Well, okay, we're having some technical difficulties in the actual studio right now. So this is the thing we did last year, and I want to ask you, Mendrix, if you're Sin, you're down 1-0 right now, right?
Yep.
Imagine yourself as Benzel, right? You're the coach of Sin. What's your team talk going to be? What are you telling these guys?
So we were looking at your team composition. You had a 1-3-1 in terms of the champions you picked, and you were A-ramming quite a fair bit. Now, I understand this is a stylistic choice that you guys like to play, but when we've got the composition for it specifically,
it's not good.
Yeah, you got to go for 1-3-1 when we're doing a 1-3-1.
So you're saying when you pick it, play it?
Yes.
Yeah. Ejim, I mean, well,
I'm just nodding and agreeing. They can't see me, but I'm just nodding and agreeing. So if you can't, if that's what you're gonna pick, then you should play that style.
But like you said, they came pretty close last game. You know?
Yeah.
And even though they picked a thing, then played the different thing, but the different thing seemed to be working for 40 minutes.
The problem with that game is it's Direwolves won, right? But if you looked at the cams after the game, that's a game that Direwolves aren't happy they won.
Absolutely.
And then Sin really aren't happy that they lost from that position. So I don't know. I guess it's just kind of reset your mental, and then yeah, go back into like just reset and plan out your next game.
Yeah, well, if you're Direwolves, then how do you stop Sin from resetting? I mean, obviously you can't bust into their team room and like, you know, threaten them or anything. But what I mean is like, what in your playstyle needs to remain the same and what needs to change, given that Sin are probably going to be really keen to win this game.
I think they just need to like clean up their execution in terms of how they were playing their game beforehand. I mean, if you look at it, they were doing really well in the early game. It was because they didn't scale as hard in comparison to Sin, but they really were around the map. They had control. I think at one point that might have actually discouraged Sin from going for the 1-3-1 is you did have Ryze running to the top lane every single time, and it just seemed that Sin had Direwolves had an extra man the entire time, and Sin were getting killed because of it. And you sort of sit back and go, okay, you know what, Direwolves, at this point in time, you just need to keep up that play. But the moment that grouping started happening, and that was what they wanted to do, you should be winning those team fights, not losing them. It's all about the execution at that point.
Yeah, Direwolves are really cheeky like that. There was a point in that game, there was like quite a long portion, I think, like after 20 minutes, when there was kind of no map reset. Like none of the teams were like actually resetting, and so there was like a kill on the top lane, and Direwolves would punish bot lane, and then like as the Direwolves were walking out of base, Sin would look for like a cheeky pick in the top tribush or something. So like things were just happening all over the place, and the camera was like struggling to catch all the fights because it's just going nuts. And so it's like Sin, I think, had like an inkling of like they wanted to set up the 1-3-1, and they were like trying to do it, but they were just doing it at poor times because people were dead, and then like people were basing, doing buffs and that sort of thing.
All right, well, Sin are down 0-1 against Direwolves. Let's see if they can claw it back and tie up the series. Let's get into game 2 with our casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thank you very much, Hingers. We're about to get into the second match between the Sin and Direwolves, but it is a best-of-3 series, and it's not over yet because Direwolves have been dropping games 2 and 3 recently.
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, they have a history of being able to pick up the first one as we get a good look at Fantic's arm still in a sling.
I think this is our fault, Spawn.
I don't know if it is. I mean, I think it's Chippy's fault,
no,
according to the rumors.
But we dunked the Chiefs in basketball, so every OPL team is now going up and like, all right, we're going to practice. We're going to beat the OPL squad. And, you know, I feel like it's just a little bit of our fault there for that.
Yeah, I don't. Best of luck to them if they want to try and play us. So I want to talk about last game because I feel like I strongly disagree with sending Maokai into the back line. When you're playing a front-to-back comp, when you have a tank and then you have damage threats, if you don't play front-to-back in the team fight, then you just lose the team fight. And what they did is they sent Maokai behind the team, and then everyone else kind of just took out the carries, and then Maokai was by himself. So I really do believe that, you know, if they just had a ghosted forward or flash forward and looked for the engage, they would have been much more successful because then you allow Caitlyn to just free hit everyone else. There's no tanks, you're not able to fight. But that was last game. This is this game. Let's take us through the bans.
Yep, Rogue. Yep, still got the guns going. Got unlimited ammo, this guy. But we have gone through the first few bans during this second pick and ban phase. LeBlanc, Ivan, Jace taking off the Rift. We're going to have Camille, Varus, and okay, Destiny. And Zyra, big banned out as well. Destiny putting on his best Kuda impersonation there.
So Jace, the strong ban, being taken away by the Direwolves. Of course, Camille also banned away by Sin. LeBlanc taken off the table on blue side. This is a couple of times that Direwolves have actually done this. Don't want to play with or against that champion.
Does leave Rengar open. Instantly locked in for the Direwolves. Shenfai will pick that one up. His second game here today. First one as a jungler today. Actually had a pretty decent performance on the Orianna. Didn't have any complaints.
I mean, if the thing that we're saying that Sybil didn't do well is hit ultimate, Chippy sent one into the forest and literally burnt down like private property. Shenfire had one where he only hit FBI when King had already nailed 3 members with a Varus ultimate. I feel like we can't throw shade on the fact that, you know, Sybil couldn't hit an ultimate when it looked like the whole top side of the map was confused as to what their R buttons did.
Not throwing it at Sybil. It's been for this guy stepping in as a mid laner.
Yeah,
it was alright.
No, his ultimates were pretty poor, to be honest. I mean, if we compare him to other mid laners,
of course,
definitely was not up to scratch. He had a fine game as a substitute. They were able to pick up the win, but it was much sloppier than the Direwolves would have liked. And I feel like the Direwolves and Chiefs are going to have an easier time against Sin than the other top teams because they are actually known for playing controlled, rigid styles of League of Legends, which they shouldn't get sucked into what Sin want to do.
As King is asleep again. Very common sight in the OPL, but we've gone through the first few picks in Champion Select here. Rengar, Ryze, as well as Tahm Kench taken away by the Direwolves. Sin, they've gone for Malzahar, as well as Jhin, Kha'Zix is their final pick here.
So more of a standard AD carry this time around. You expect them to get rid of the Varus as well in the second ban phase. Actually, Miss Fortune being taken away, so maybe double AD carry ban will be thrown down there. However, that will leave something like a Fiora open or that cannon.
Still waiting to see what Direwolves are going to be banning out. See Shonefire very relaxed heading into this match with Chippy sitting just behind him. Just beside him, I should say. Kennen is their first ban in the second ban rotation, really taking their time with these
So
ones.
Direwolves ban away the cannon.
Ashe taken away by Sin.
They want the Varus?
Varus is banned.
Is it? Oh, yeah, second ban. Good work. Could have pulled me up the first time I said it. Thought we were a team.
We are.
Nah, that's all right.
Got you
I
back.
know now. Game's on. Here we go.
What? Still waiting to see what the final ban from Direwolves is going to be. Corki hits the bench. Don't want Wizard to pick up that champion.
I feel if you're only going to half wear the sling, you just take the sling off. Now it's just being used like kind of a WWE prop. It's there for dramatic effect. He's got pretty much a table underneath his arm, so it's nice and propped up already.
Well, the steel chair's coming up next, Spawn.
Sledgehammer.
Hiding somewhere. Yeah, get the other arm! To surefire way to put an end to this. Karma, the first pick coming out from Sin. So Rogue should be picking up that as their support. Still waiting for Wizards' final pick unless they flex the Malzahar and the Karma
What?
again.
Wizards' final pick? I think that Wizards either play Belzahar or Karma.
That's true.
I think it'll actually be the Karma at this stage. I don't think that
I
with
mean-
the changes to the Voidlings, you would be very good in the mid lane, potentially.
I mean, the entire philosophy behind that change was to not hit Malzahar mid as much as they would hit the support.
But it really ruins the combo of getting the EWW into the R for the free kill. Sever's being picked up. That's interesting.
Yep.
Synergizes really well with Ryze as well as Rengar.
They get Shen on top of it as well.
So that's a 1-3-1 comp being picked up by the Direwolves.
And the final pick from Sin is going to be Flair's Maokai. Now it's just a matter of where is the Karma and Malzahar going? We've seen it flexed a lot for the Sin team. And actually, no, I'm not going to talk about it. Just wait till they lock it in. But Direwolves, everything's set in stone. Ryze going to be coming out for Shonefire here. Lots of clicking. This Ryze champion.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, if he's having trouble with the keyboard hand, as we suspect, might definitely struggle with that. Just
Mel's
trying to-
mid.
Yeah, Mel's mid, past 30 seconds. Just trying to think about how these teams will match up. We've already said that Shen needs to early itemize towards wave clear to really deal with Maokai. A little bit of damage taken off both Rengar as well as Kha'Zix means that don't really know how they go when they bump into each other. But should be a very strong winning bottom lane for Sin Gaming as they pick up the Jhin and the Karma, much more standard than the Sivir as well as the Tahm Kench. But across the board, I mean, we feel like we have a 1-3-1 comp versus a pretty heavy team fighting comp, potentially, but we don't know how these teams are going to play. Let's get realistic.
No, we could be stuck in mid lane again and use Caitlyn traps to define the boundaries of what is meant to be Howling
No
Abyss.
Caitlyn in the game. That's not happening.
Exactly.
Jhin traps instead.
Jhin traps. That could work.
Could work.
But they're invisible this time around.
Oh,
Or
we can
voidlings,
see
you know,
them, though.
just put the voidlings on the side.
Nah,
and
they
kind
move.
of
You're out of control. Yeah. so-
saplings. Okay, yeah, but going back to a more serious note, it's very scrappy almost coming out from Sin.
Oh yeah, they play a very strange playstyle. They like to play up tempo, and they put themselves in a stall that game.
Mhm.
And then they also like to play like heavy engage generally, and they didn't have all that much apart from the Maokai. So you could see that where they were struggling, they weren't really comfortable going towards a 1-3-1. And Direwolves are very much more experienced at that.
They certainly are, and they've gone with a team comp that we're used to from the Direwolves. Historically, well known for a 1-3-1 team. At the start of the OPL, they were playing a lot more team fight based. And you know, their team comp still allows them to do just that. And as our Juves dances in front of multiple Direwolves members, let's give it over to Hingers, who's with our Direwolves coach Sharp.
Thanks very much, guys. I'm here with Sharp, and the big story of Direwolves today is their player rotations. Obviously, Fantix coming in this game. Last week, you said that one of the big things was being able to watch jungle pathing when you were in the room watching the first game. What are you doing with Fantix during that first game?
Well, we didn't really want to play Fantix due to his injury, but since the game was so close, we didn't really want to take any risks. And Fantix decided to make the heroic call and sub himself back in. So
Absolutely. What a heroic call. Now, I also want to talk to you about the Sivir pick. Now, Blinky's been talking it up. A lot of people saying that it's really strong in 7.3. Why is Sivir coming back into meta?
well, Sivir naturally has a lot of hard engage with the ultimate and works really well with Rengar and Shen. It gives you a lot of proactive plays to make, especially in the bot lane. It also scales well into the late game, and it gives you that ability to engage. And on Jhin, it's such an immobile carry. Does well against that.
All right, well, let's see if Sivir can take out that Jhin. And how much late game scaling we can see.
Yeah.
Thanks for speaking to us, and best of luck in the game.
Thank you.
There you have it from Sharp, valuing the team fight potential that Sivir gives them to try and engage onto Sin.
Funnily enough, I agree with everything Sharp said. However, I also think that the late game scaling may take a while to come online because he's gone boots, he's gone 4 potions.
What?
And he has yet to pick up a CS, and I do not expect the laning phase to get any easier because Tahm generally loses to Karma anyway, and Jhin has much greater range than Sivir.
All right, going to put you on the spot here, Spawn. You play AD carry. Why has he got boots?
Honestly, probably just to be able to weave in and out because of the short range, to be able to pick up CS and the extra sustain that he's going to grab off the back end of it. I feel like pushing in hard at this stage is not the best call, although the added AD is definitely, the missing AD is definitely hurting King at the moment.
Yeah, it's...
Because he's not able to pick up all that much underneath turret, but I feel like they could just freeze and force him off a lot of CS.
I mean, there was a time in competitive play where everybody on the map was picking up boots first item, but...
That was a long time ago.
Very
Fish.
long time
That was
ago.
like a real, like, you're just showing your age.
But then boots were changed, and mover speed was increased on all champions to stop that. Just very confusing.
I
to
mean,
see
boots used to be picked up everywhere. That's, yeah. I mean, we're talking about like season 1, early season 2.
very long ago. And yeah, but he has lots of items to choose from. You can even go Cole if you really want to. Longsword for the extra 3 potions, but it's gone for the boots, so have to see how that affects him. For now, he's 10 CS behind FBI. You can kind of expect...
Juves is looking for Shenfire right now, not able to spot him, and does walk over a ward. Will fall down slightly in experience, as he wastes a lot of time.
Maokai also hits the Scrying Orb plant, so he will be able to spot out top side of the jungle. For now, though, Rogue and FBI just continuing to push out this bottom lane, making sure that they keep King underneath his turret. As you mentioned, Spawn, lack of AD making it hard for King to clear these waves. 15 CS down already, and Shenfire is actually making his way into Juve's jungle.
Yeah, certainly is. Juves just picks up a camp for himself, however. Shen's done a full clear, and he's sitting on 23 CS. You can see that Juves has not. Looking to actually sweep out his jungle and miss the ward. You just hate to see it.
Instead, he will be able to take the control ward that was placed down. Helping Wizard out there as Fantix gets his 32 CS clear. He's already got a tier, so he's going back to base for the second time.
I mean, and whilst we're talking about how punished this bottom lane is getting right now, Fantix has done a number on Wizard as well. 2 free shops, able to push in incredibly hard and 8 CS up.
Yeah, seems like although he can only throw jabs, he's still keeping Wizard at bay. Good job with that.
You love the sports metaphors at the moment.
King's still taking a lot of damage here, but Shenfire's right behind. Destiny's looking to try and engage onto FBI, but good shield from Rogue gets him back to safety.
I mean, I feel like you still don't want to fight that one, even if you are King. He's out of potions at the moment, has been harassed well and truly down. And if you take a look at the gold, I mean, he's not in any position to be able to pick up anything. So it's not like the boots has bought him a free shop either. Instead, Shen going to look towards Wizard.
Ghost is coming out. Slow down coming out from Shenfire as well. Signet's not going to connect, but Wizard just turns around and says, let's go! Teleport's coming in. Shenfire does get locked down. Wizard's not level 6, so he can't suppress the Rengar. Is still taking a lot of damage.
Potentially Juves over the wall.
Fantix looking for the fight. Juves will get the first blood over the wall, but Fantix goes 2-on-1 to pick up the kill. Now looking at Flares. Ultimate coming out of Rise. Will Flares be able to get away? Fantix still going to be able to lock him down, but he says, let's go. Locks him in the mini wave, and is going to be able to slap him down. Finally, teleport coming out from Chippies, but he just watches the rest of the Wolfpack gets torn apart.
Yes, so late towards that teleport from Chippies. Flares was down there as soon as it started, and they pick up first blood with 3 assists as well as an additional kill. Great proactive play. I mean, the good news is that for Direwolves is that Fantix is well and truly ahead in his lane. Bad news is that everywhere else is slowly losing out.
I mean, Did Chippy's teleport at level 6 when he could have?
No, he didn't have level 6.
Ah,
No,
okay.
not at all. Strongly disagree. Incorrect.
When we take a look at the fight again, Wizard gets slowed down, stunned up, and then it says, all right,
That
I'll
was
fight you."
actually big. The fact that he missed that silence meant that Fantix got an extra 2 spells out. So you can see here they put in a lot of damage. Fantix actually flashes, and that gives the go button for Juves to just hop over the wall, pick it up. Off the back end of that, Fantix does the right thing, gets the turnaround kill, and I think this is an overextension. I think at this stage you just admit that it's a 1-for-1, that you've actually burnt the teleport, and that you're fine. Instead he calls in the teleport, and it's all for nothing.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, still the same as always. FBI and Rogue just continue pushing in Destiny and King. That's a 30 CS advantage at the moment.
Certainly is. As I just bit into a Vietnamese roll with paper all around it, so give me 1 second.
Good job there, Swan. Wizard's going to return to his lane and continue pushing out against Fantix. See, Fantix got the components for his Catalyst. They're trying to stack that up as early as possible and get that Rod of Ages going. Wizard's still in the double rings with the Amp Tone. We'll have to see what he builds into first on his Malzahar. A lot of times see him going towards the Morello Nomicon. Nice and early for the mana. Fantix will take blue buff early, so he'll try to get his Rise scaling as soon as possible.
And this is really the test, because if they're able to win one more time with this Malzahar flex pick, and prove how much damage does come out of the mid Malzahar, we'll hold them in good stead. Probably won't have to throw it towards Rogue all that much more often.
Bottom side. Ow. Bottom side of the map, King's still taking a lot of harass. He's forced to buy even more potions earlier. Does have Warlord's Bloodlust, so will slowly regenerate down here. But was only able to go back to base and pick up a BF sword for himself.
Yeah, but this is what you kind of want to do. You want to make Jin play against creeps. So what we mean by that is when you step into the wave, you want to be able to clear it out as fast as possible. And then Jin, who has less auto attacks than obviously the Sivir can have, is not going to be able to clear at the same pace, and therefore will have no choice but to not fight and slowly fall behind as they actually go in. Oh, you hate to see it.
Flash on flash there. Wizard even prepped the Voidling. Single Voidling.
Fantix definitely knew what was coming. I feel like that was a reflex test. You've got a broken arm, sir. Let me see how much it's impeding your ability to play. Destiny now caught out a little bit.
Oh, Destiny is
Or is
actually gonna eat up Juves and deliver him to Fantix, who's able to take him down nice and easy. Schönfire actually jumps in for the kill secure.
Yeah, it certainly does, and they time it in such a way that King was back in base, actually getting a refillable potion. So even though they lose some damage on the turret, they're now looking for the play down there. They can come in with Tahm Kench, as well as a Sivir ulti potentially.
Going to try and back the
Tahm
heck out
Kench
of
doesn't
this.
have ulti. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Rengar doesn't have ulti either because he used it for the kill. So that was an ambitious play at the best of time.
But it seems like Schönfire is going to pick up blue buff here and donate a fresh one. to
Doesn't have
Fantix.
flash, however.
Rogue looking to try and lock him down. Double lock down into the curtain call, or the carbon call, as I should say for now. As Fantix says, see you, mate. I'm out of here. Get back to safety. So blue buff steal from the Direwolves. Fantix
Yeah.
has had a double refresh blue buff now.
And that's important because at the same time, bottom lane was the lane that was well and truly in control. They use Exhaust as well as the Curtain Call to try and pick up a kill on Schönfire, who didn't have flash available, and it was all for naught. So relieves some pressure from bottom lane, controls the bottom side of the map. And Juves is potentially caught again.
King and Destiny not able to follow up after the leap from Juves. But that means Sivir going to be able to take down this bottom lane turret. First turret taken down by FBI once he reloads. And all the gold going over to him as well. 30 CS up. A full turret as well.
And I feel like this is a drafting error, not through the Sivir. So I don't mind the Sivir. I just don't think Sivir and Tahm Kench has any winning factors in a laning phase together. Which means that, you know, if you've got two parts of the lane that lose, you're not going to really be able to benefit from it. What you used to do is put a weak laner with something like a Zyra or a Brand that can bully around by itself. And then therefore you can control the lane that way. Or put it with strong wave clear. So what you do is you put something like Karma on your side of the lane, and then you just don't ever have to worry about fighting and being bullied out because 2 ricochets and a boomerang blade is enough to clean that wave out. So couple of ways that you can win a lane as a Sivir player, and not having any wave clear and not having any ability to fight definitely didn't help out. And it led to a 25 CS discrepancy, as well as first turret going over. See whether now Sin use that to swap around the map or whether they can intend to just continue to farm up.
Moving to the top side of the map, it's Flares and Chippies are just battling it out against one another. Chippies has gone for a Spectre's Cow. Looking to complete his Tiamat next, it seems. They're just going fairly even. Nothing much happening up there. Shenfire tries to run away from the Maokai sapling. Not going to happen as he just slowly strikes his way across the map. You can always see FBI moving towards the mid lane. They've taken down the bottom lane turret, so have some free time until their wave crashes back towards their side of the map. Might get caught out.
Potentially a teleport play on the book, but Rogue is in big trouble.
Here comes Shenfire. There's an ultimate coming out from Shen as well. Can't get over the wall, but does lock him down. The rest of Sin now looking to see if they can follow up with a fight of their own. Ghost is coming out from the Malzahar. Chippies takes a little bit of fruit and gets back to safety. Now Flares is in the bottom lane. Destiny going to take a lot of damage. Pops the shield, tries to flash. Healed up by King as well, but gets taken down. Now King tries to put on his blue suede shoes, but he can't avoid the damage of Juves as a double kill will come out for the jungler.
So a 2-for-1 trade there. Direwolves able to pick up Wizard, who didn't even get his ultimate off, collapsed on by 3 members. However, deep teleport out of Flares means that he was able to burn the ultimate out of King before the fight even started, the flash out of King before the fight started, and now cleans them out of mid lane as well. So potentially might be able to secure another objective after that dragon in the form of the mid lane turret.
Ocean Dragon is going to fall. Sin picks that one up for themselves. Continue pushing for the mid lane.
Yeah, without Flares there, absolutely no way they can look to dive, so they will just back away. A couple of pop shots on there. So really the only thing they get out of that was the drag. Again, as we take another look at this, so they actually get a really nice deep flank out of Flares. He's already burnt the flash at this stage. He gets onto Destiny. They isolate the support, meaning no one else can get saved. Although back in live, Flares in trouble.
A Ninja and a Cat up in the top lane against the Maokai. Still pinging on towards him, but Flares has kept this minion wave off the turret. Make it difficult to dive. Does have friends streaming in from the inner turret to make sure he doesn't get taken down here.
And with Dragon falling, this is definitely the right call. Chippies doesn't have wave clear to be able to deal with this. Flares can actually get into the bottom lane and maybe even go toe-to-toe against King because of how far behind he's been set. And, you know, as the Karma, as the Jhin, you can bully out the Shen at this stage unless something like a Fantix ultimate comes up into the top lane and really turns that around.
Fantix clears out the mid lane. He's going to go back to base. King, with the map rotations coming out from Sin, has been able to catch up slightly in CS, now about 20 behind FBI. As he's a double longsword looking for the Essence Reaver first. Flares will be sent down here to deal with him, but King's more than happy to slowly clear out this wave. And he will continue pushing. Destiny going to help him out, stay on the bottom side. Top side of the map, we already have Sin rotating multiple members up. To get the exact same thing going, and if they're not careful...
Teleport coming in. Flares actually might be in some big trouble here.
Oh, quite a lot of trouble. Destiny's going to tank up the turret. He just stays right behind the Maokai. Does not want to get locked down. Turret pushes a Shenfire. Gets eaten up by Destiny. They're taking a long time to kill Flares. Chippy has to be a little bit careful. Fantix will be able to get that kill.
But all for what? I mean, in the mid lane, they're pushing. They've already taken down the top lane turret. They haven't even taken the bottom lane turret yet. It's just to kill. A huge commitment for what looks like 2 turrets for the price of 1, and potentially a 3rd in the mid lane.
Let's see if Wizard can take that down. We have Fantix collapsing slowly in towards mid lane, so he's got to be a little bit careful, but he's actually saying, all right, you want to fight? Let's go. Fantix doesn't like that idea.
Yeah, Fantix had so many people collapsing on the top side of the map. That is definitely the right call to back away. They are now here, so maybe a potential fight could break out over this tier 1 mid. It looks like Sin want to commit for it.
3 turrets for a kill and a turret picked up here by Sin. Really good trade on their behalf.
Yeah, and you know, we say that Sin, an ARAM team, they just like to fight, very, very reckless in how they pick engagement. But that does prove that when Direwolves make a mistake and overcommit for the Maokai, that they're able to punish. Pretty straightforward punish, but still getting away with only 1 death on a turret versus 3. Definitely a thumbs up.
Chippies is going to continue to push out the top lane, has his standing under backup and available. Let's see how moves down towards the middle of the park. King now making his way towards the mid lane. He is still behind in CS against FBI, who's picked up Here's Yomu's Ghostblade looking for Edge of Night as his next item. King's still sitting on the Essence Reaver, so has a little bit of extra cooldown reduction, but that won't be fully online until he gets his Phantom Dancer or any other Zeal item completed.
However, you have to give credit to him because he has been able to catch up pretty much in CS. He's only 9 behind. I mean, that's as equal as the top lane is right now, and you wouldn't say that Flares is having a bad match against Chippies. So has been able to battle his way back in.
Ooh, Flares. Gonna go onto Destiny underneath the turret. This is a dive from Sin, trying to lock down the tanky Tahm Kench. They will get the kill, but here comes Schönfire looking to jump in. Juves is low. A couple of members from Sin at half health as well. Fantix even looking to try and go Sin on top of this one, but Sin now sieging mid lane inner.
That is a brave call. I mean, Tahm Kench is a tanky man to take out at the best of times. With the Shen ultimate coming in at the same time, there was definitely a punish there to be had. However, Sin do get away with only burning the flash out of Juves on the retreat. So whether now with the disadvantage in numbers, if they can take anything, although Destiny already respawned because he's only level 7 and running back towards that mid lane.
Seems like Sin are very content with just the pick onto Direwolf's support. We saw this mentioned by Ejim on the desk earlier, FBI on this Jhin. Actually, probably his most played champion at the moment in the OPL. And how it gives you a little bit more initiation than Varus does, thanks to the Curtain Core. You saw that right there underneath the turret, FBI able to initiate. For now, though, we have FBI and Rogue up on the top side of the map, being collapsed on. 4 members of Direwolves are close by.
Flares needs to teleport right now.
Let's see if Chippies goes for the engage. There's a teleport. Takes quite a few turret hits here, and Direwolves have to back off.
Yeah, no curtain call available. They actually do complete the teleport, so not going to save the cooldown. Instead, he just walks away. See whether they pick up something like a Rift Herald at 18 minutes to make that worthwhile, or whether they're just happy to bully them off the turret and continue to try and build this gold lead.
Wizards going to continue pushing the mid lane here. Schönfire actually getting jumped on by Flares.
He's in trouble at this stage of the game. Flares' base damages are very high.
Ooh, forces in the flash away. Flares actually follows through. He's looking for it and slams the ground to take down Schönfire. A solo kill from Sin's top laner.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the game, only 18 minutes, you expect there to be a tier 2 turret there, but there wasn't, so a big victory. Juves, however,
gets locked down underneath the turret. Fantix is going to allow King to pick up that kill. Bit of breathing room for Direwolves.
I feel like Juves, his play style is starting to become like his attitude. He's a very enthusiastic guy, wants to get in there, wants to be able to mix it up. And I feel like he's getting a little bit overwhelmed with the fact that, you know, his team's doing well. Doesn't mean you have to dive turrets, especially against a 200 CS Ryze. He's more than happy to just turn around and bop you when you don't have any MR. And now they're coming in for the big fight.
Oh, here they come. Fantix has got a Shen ultimate on top of him, but he's going to get locked down and take it down right away. Shen still gets into the fight, taunts up Wizard. He's going to get healed and tries to kite around. Curtain Call from FBI just trying to lock down remaining members of the Direwolves. Destiny falls in the back lines there. Schönfire jumps in. Double kill for FBI. Chippies is going to taunt Flash on top of the AD carry, but no one else close by to get the kill. King will flash forward and force a flash out of FBI.
Yeah, that was a strange flash from King, not burning it when the CC had actually come through and waiting till afterwards. Thought maybe he could get the kill without it. Instead, flashes and just trades flashes with FBI. Overall, a good fight for Sin again because they're able to pick up a mid lane turret. However, Direwolves are showing that they're on the cusp. I mean, that was about 0.5 seconds away from like actually saving Fantix's life and being able to get a turnaround. If that's a evolved Seraphs into an Archangel, definitely the shield there would have saved him. And they're willing to take these risky plays. This is Fantix's perspective of the fight. Actually goes in with the ulti, starts channeling the Shen. And you can see that it's so close. Destiny actually gobbled Shen. That was what went wrong.
Oh no!
Yeah, just saw that as well.
I was wondering where he went.
Yep. So was I. I thought he didn't make it.
He had an acquired taste for ninjas.
You see that it's actually right now that King flashes forward. If it was during the CC, I think that FBI would have died. Instead, outside of that Shadow Dash, not able to get it going. That's going to be 5 turrets to only 1. But you feel that this game's on a knife edge right now. If Direwolves win one team fight, they've got enough wave clear that they're going to be able to push through and take so many turrets. And then the gold swings back incredibly hard. But at this stage, Sin definitely still the stronger lineup. Maybe by, you know, less than they actually think. But should be able to use that to get themselves some advantages. Although Baron being started up, potentially. Nope, not started up. There's a ward in the back of the pit. Ignore me. When 4 people stand on top of Baron, you generally think it's being started.
is why us play-by-play commentators never look at that mini-map. It's misleading.
It's misleading.
As Chippy's in a bit of trouble. Juice trying to wrap around on towards the tank. Pulls out the dodge field, but Flares is still slapping him. Stand United. Not gonna matter.
Just not going to matter. And now it's actually going to be the Barrier that started up.
Direwolves looking for this one. The
It's
Eagles are
Vision. They're not
crying.
doing this quick enough.
They're looking to try and take this one down as fast as possible. Sin are slowly collapsing. 2,000 health. Exhaust on the King. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. The Carbon Core's coming out. They do get the Baron, but how many can live? Definitely not Schönfire. Fantix is in trouble. Destiny's trying to book it out of there because he wants to keep the buff for his team, but Sin get 4 kills.
4 kills with a 40-second death timer on Fantix. That should be at least the base broken right now for Sin. They're against Baroned up creeps, but still FBI is going to be able to make short work of them. And that's a brave call from the Direwolves, but definitely not one that pays off.
Destiny does keep the Baron buff, but with the base broken, it's going to be quite a difficult task for the Direwolves. Chippy's just watches, everything burns. And Sin will get an empowered Karma shield to walk the heck out of there. Ocean Dragon is available, they can make their way towards that objective. They've already got one. Stacking another one could be nice.
Yeah, it's certainly nice against a 1-3-1 specifically, because what you're doing is you're kind of getting the regen between the bouncing waves. So if you are one of those guys that maybe not necessarily as suited towards the champions of Flares, you know, Wizard, you know, Shen should be able to beat out Maokai at this stage of the game, and definitely the Rise will beat out the Malzahar because of the 60 CS discrepancy between the two. It's going to make it easier.
Hello. That's Chippy's teleport too.
That's a huge force again from the Direwolves. You feel like they're getting a little bit desperate here.
He's talking about Flares. Flares going to take quite a bit of damage. Claps and gets a big old shield.
I feel like this is the second time we've seen what happens when you dive a Maokai. He's not all that intimidated by you.
On the hunt comes through from King. He says, let's go, let's run. Don't want to be here anymore. And speaking of King, he's got his Phantom Dancer picked up already. So 2 items for Sivir. I believe last year it used to be, what, 3 items for Sivir and then you win the game? Or was it more?
Yeah, generally 4 items. If there is a tank on the other team, you need a Last Whisper to be able to deal with flares.
Uh-oh, Fantix gets jumped on by Judes and Rogue's just behind him. Or who's the one actually in trouble here? No, you stuck him here with me. Come on, let's go, Shen. Taunt flashes, misses everyone. Now he tries to fight Judes. He's going to get locked down, and teleports coming out from Flares as well. Chippy's is like, we can do this, team, and Dio will say we can't.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, Chippy's huge miscommunication. They're down by a couple of thousand gold. All of a sudden, he flies into the back line. No one else wants to follow up because he hasn't gone the pure tank route. Not going to be able to tank up everything. So will fall down. You can see that Shern's actually on the other side of the map right now. He's taken away what looks to be Krugs.
That's FM, is that you?
And the rest of Sin are going to look to break another turret.
Waiting for the mini waves to collapse. Fantix has gone towards the top side of the map. He said, I can't do this anymore. First I get the Stand United and then Destiny doesn't eat me. Now I get the Stand United and Chippy splashes in. Can't do this. As, the zoning curtain call comes out.
I think that they were actually looking for flares to be able to get onto a member because they saw that Fantix was on the other side of the map. However, didn't want to burn a flash onto a Tahm Kench who's pretty tanky at this stage of the game.
King taking quite a bit of damage there. He's going to try and clear out this wave. See Pickaxe being picked up by the Sivir.
And you can see that all they have to really do is wait because Super Creeps are pushing in. Potentially could get something else happening at this stage, although maybe just better to back away, reset. Top minion wave definitely not doing them any favors right now.
Fantix tries to lock down flares. The Maokai doesn't care. Take much damage at all. Collapse.
I mean, he does take some damage.
Now down to half health. So say that. King spell shields the captive audience. But Sin are very happy to continue the ARAM in the bottom lane.
And it's actually going to be the Rengar that goes towards the mid lane. Potentially could look for a flank through the jungle, I guess, with the ultimate, as well as Shen being able to join relatively quickly. Instead, they're just going to approach the turret. Here we go.
Ultimate coming out from the Rengar. Flares forced to bash away. There's a Stand United coming in as well. They're looking for the fight. Now they go in. Schönfire gets obliterated at the start of the fight. But so do multiple members of Sin. Rogue is going to fall first. King trying to get into the backlines. Flares jumps onto Fantix. That might be a huge mistake as he gets taken down next. Sidestep not going to come out from the Rise, and no curtain call available from FBI, or is there? He's firing off his shots. Chippy's going to try and tank these up, but how many can he take? Destiny eats him up and dies!
The true support there, Destiny. Fantix still has ultimate. They need to be careful. They need to book it right now because Fantix could potentially re-engage. They open the base again. It's an equal trade, all things considered. But this game's on a knife set. You see how quickly the damage threat of Sin deal with them with that suppression. But also the fact that right now, Fantix is uncontested in damage. He's 100 CS up nearly, and he is a huge rise.
Well, man, with a broken hand, he's playing out of his mind right now.
Well, he has a broken arm.
Arm.
Told you we had no friendship anymore. It's on.
We can check with the gold that's being brought up now. Fantix is quite far ahead of his counterpart Wizard. Top side of map about 600 in Flair's favor, very even in the jungle. And bottom lane still slightly in favor of FBI. But Direwolves, they're 5 turrets down here, and it's only a 2,000 gold lead that separates them from Sin. Inhibitors have respawn, so a bit of breathing room for the Direwolves as well. But now there's 2 lanes that Sin can attack.
And also an area that you can force a team fight around. So whilst you do have this gold lead, or actually didn't use a Ghost Blade there, FBI. Probably could have caught up for another auto attack.
Oh, King going to take quite a lot of damage there.
That's going to be an hit gone.
Yep, Shen's going back to base, but it's not going to be fast enough to stop this inhib from falling. Sin are going to take the one run. And continue to look to try and siege up the bottom lane, it seems, waiting for that minion wave to slowly crash back.
And really, if they're able to take these 2 inhibitors, that should open up the Baron buff. Because when you have 2 down, you're not really able to defend. I mean, technically, Rise can go to mid lane and Shen can go towards bottom lane. They've engaged onto King.
King's used the spell shield, is able to dodge out from Flares. Flares doesn't mind taking these tiny boomerangs that deal nothing to the Maokai at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely the Rise he needs to be more concerned with.
Ooh, here comes a Rengar, looking for the fight. Immediate disengage coming out from Rogue, shields up his team. But that's the Empowered E down.
Certainly is, so not going to be usable in the main team fight. You can see already halfway back off cooldown. Does still have the Redemption as well, so there's a lot of healing to be had if they clump up.
Slowly, this inhibitor's getting whittled down. Direwolves do have minion waves pushed in the mid lane, so they don't have to defend the mid inhibitor just yet. Sending Knight still available for Chippies, but he's grouped up with his team. Oh, Chippies goes for the taunt flash. That does not connect. Now he's the one getting locked down. Curtain gets popped from the back lines. King still trying to defend his team with the on the hunt, but Schoenfire's been taken out by Juves. Hunts him down, and they're going to lose their inhibitor as well.
Yeah, they certainly are, and is that going to be the game? Because a member down for 40 seconds and big ultimates used in the on the hunt. Actually looks like they're just going to back away and go towards the Baron without the jungler available, which is a percentage play. However, the Direwolves know, and there's always that chance that Sivir, as well as the Rise, is able to torch your backline in this situation. So Sin need to play this one well.
Sin are rushing towards the Baron here. Schoenfire is not going to be anywhere close, but 4 members strong, charging towards the pit. Almost down to half health. Sin are going to be able to get there in time to contest, but Sin look to try and destroy this one. Here comes the Redemptions. Juves is taking a lot of damage, not going to heal back up. Baron falls, Sin get it, and now they turn on the fight. Chippies this time around gets a good turn off, locking down Wizard. Destiny will be the first one to fall. Fantix is in so much trouble, does get this Sandy Knight as well as a big shield to be able to take down Juves. He will eventually get locked down and taken down on top of that.
Yeah, so 2 more members die, and only the jungler for Sin falls. You can see how close that team fight is. I mean, they actually turned on it, and now with 2 waves of super minions, Maokai actually teleporting into the base.
He's going to lock it down slow. Flares is not scared of nobody here. That's a massive tree. Chippy's doing whatever he can to defend the base with those super minions marching on in. 2 members down. First Nexus turret is going to fall. Sin looking to try and end this game spawn.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're going to be able to do it. I mean, Fantasy's the most fed member. King's under fire.
Going to take a lot of damage. Schoenfire's gone into the back lines, gets obliterated now. The Shen looking to try and do what he can, but Wizard kites him backwards. And it will be Flares that picks up the kill. The Nexus is going to fall. Sin tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they do it with Fantix in the roster. So what's the next move for the Direwolves? They bring on the starting 5 and fall in game 2.
I mean, there's only one way to go from here, Spawn. You had Fantix mid last game, Sybil jungle. Now you've got Fantix mid with Shenfire in the jungle. This time around, you put Sybil mid and put Fantix in the jungle. That's the only logical way they can go from here, if not bring back Ribby.
Just the rotating system. Just get as many people in as many positions as possible. No, honestly, this poses a huge question because was that game down to Fantix? Definitely not. I mean, he had a 100 CS lead. He was playing well, got caught out maybe once in a team fight, but apart from that, looked like the rest of the team just not able to keep up with that quick rotation from top lane where they were able to pick up 2 turrets into the mid lane, and that opened up the game for Sin to play how they wanted to execute.
Yep, and Sin used that to pick up the victory here, tying up the series 1-1. But for now, let's give it back to the analyst desk.
Thanks, guys. Well, it appears that Sin have clawed their way back into this game and 1-1. And this rotating system from Direwolves, Ejim and Mendrix, it's confusing. It's confusing. Like, how do you maintain tempo when you're just changing plays in and out?
I have the master plan. What they need to do is Rippy comes back into the jungle, and then Destiny, the ultimate Oceanic Fill player, goes mid because he solo killed Crown and Korean solo queue, and then you put Sybil onto his Bard support, and then you just demolish Sin in the last game. That's how it's done. But
you mental chess.
That's just the perfect system. But no, they can't do that. I don't know where they go from here.
So the idea is we're going to confuse Sin so much they have no idea what role's being played, where and when.
All right, well, let's take a look at this draft because we saw Rengar get through 7.3. We saw Sivir getting picked up. A lot of people talking about how that's strong in 7.3 when a couple of things are banned out. Ejim, talk us through what kind of sticks out here to you?
I guess the Malzahar first pick for Sin. We mentioned it earlier before the games actually started. Sin big on the flex picks. They flexed the Karma Mals, both support and mid lane, obviously this game. But then my problem with I have a few problems with this draft. Okay, the first problem with me is the Direwolves. Like, taking the Tahm Kench into the Mals. Like, everyone knows that Sin put Malzahar mid. So they just took the Tahm Kench, which is like a fine matchup bot lane into the Malzahar. Now that he's nerfed, it's not so bad in lane, but it's a good counter pick, like, stylistically. He ults one person, you eat that person, and then they live. And then they match that with the Sivir into the Jhin Karma lane and then just got completely demolished. Like the entire lane they were shoving in. King did the new Korean thing, starting boots with 4 pots. It's good. Gives you more sustain, but then like that's not going to make you win the lane. So like they just got completely shoved in, lost their turret naturally. And then on the other side, I think giving Rengar Shen is bad. I don't think you should give a team Rengar Shen, but for the Shen to get through the second phase of bans and to be basically last picked by Direwolves is it's weird and like it was pretty like it should have done a lot more work than it did, I think.
Yes, I mean, looking at it specifically, like you said, Rengar Shen's so strong in how it actually is applied, and there were quite a few moments that we could see that every single time Rengar went for an ultimate, it did force Sin to sort of just back off. We need to get away. We cannot deal with this working out. And honestly, I feel the whole point of that, or the whole big issue Direwolves had there was just wrong decisions being made around the map. The macro players were just not there. Every single time they went for a decision, ended up costing them more than what they gained for it.
Well, let's take a look at this tower dive, Mendrix, that you were talking about upstairs, because this is a significant moment.
Yeah, and this is basically what I was talking about, them making these decisions. This looks great. Looks like a fantastic thing. You're going to dive this, but this is a Maokai you're diving. He's going to take a lot of time until you actually kill him. And this entire time, you've got Sin pushing everywhere else on the map. You're overcommitting so many resources to try and get this tower, to get this one kill, and you're losing at 2 towers for it in the end. Not only that, you may possibly end up losing all the tempo that you put forward afterwards. It's not worth it. It's completely not worth it.
I think the main thing for me this game was Chippy's on Shen just didn't look comfortable. Like that play there, you just saw like they invested so many resources into killing the Maokai, and they lost 3 turrets for it on the other side of the map. Like that's not how Direwolves play. Direwolves don't play the Shen death ball and just like run at you sort of style. And I think it was probably a consequence. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs, but in my eyes, as a consequence of Chippy's not being on the winning lane, the carry top. He's on that like utility Shen. I want to ult around and help my teammates. You saw it early in the game where Flares TP'd Maokai mid into the mid lane, and they got a couple of kills there. And like Shen's TP was just mega late, and Chippy's was really late in the call there. So I think, yeah, over the course of the game, Chippy's has actually had quite a rough series. Like the Shen didn't look good, and on the Rumble he choked in a few big team fights.
That ulti.
Yeah, bit rough for him so far.
As Spawn described, destroying private property.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at this double kill, Mendrix. What are you looking for in this replay?
Okay, so as you can see, Fantix is about to use his ultimate to get on in there. Everything's also going well. You actually have some synergy from Shen. But the big point here is Destiny eats Shen. This entire team fight would have been completely different. You would have had Shen right on top there with Chippy's, Chippy's would have been right in the middle of everything immediately. Not only that, Ryze wouldn't have died. He would have survived. That means there's more damage coming out. At this point, he is the machine gun mage. He is at his strongest. Well, not really his strongest just yet, but he is really well and truly online. And that would have made a big difference. They probably would have been able to get a clean ace off that.
I want to defend Destiny here. Because I play Tahm Kench, and the amount of times that I've been fighting an Elise and I've just ate a Spiderling is just out of this world. It's so annoying. So the Shen ult is coming down onto the Ryze, and he's just looking to eat the Ryze, and then Shen just appears underneath his cursor, and he's just already clicking the W button. As soon as he gets in range, he eats chippies, and it's all a mess from there.
Yeah, my goodness. All right, well, so what do they do from here, in specifically the Direwolves? So they thought game 1 was too close. So they've rotated in Fantix, who actually had, like we said, pretty good game. In fact, you got to question whether or not he's injured. Maybe
Mind games.
Pretend
Yeah.
broken arm.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a truther about all this stuff. The whole thing was a conspiracy. No. But so they you know what? Before we do that, let's take a look at this final Baron play, because this is really where the game kind of swung.
So as you can see here, the Direwolves have sort of gone, okay, they've committed a lot of resources to Chippies down there, and it was almost a really good play. He almost made it back to his team, which might have actually made a difference when it comes to finishing off this Baron, but you can see that exhaust goes out straight away, and this slows down the take by so much. And Sin just immediately obliterate everyone, and because they managed to get these kills, this is what really turned the tide, allowed them to break the base, and then Direwolves were on a constant back foot from there.
And breaking the base for a team comp like the one Sin ran, this is what they want to do in my eyes. They have the Maokai, they have the Malz, they have the Jhin ulti. They just have all this Bonobo hard engage, and they can just go mid, and they can just flash, and they can Malz ulti, and they can they can do that. And once you break the base as a composition like that, it's quite hard for you to siege, and then Sivir wave clear, obviously. So without the Baron, it's quite hard to break it. So that fight was really vitally important for them to break the base, and then they can get more flanks off and look from there.
So Sin are a team who play with a lot of momentum. Once they get a win, that's maybe how they can see a path to taking this 2-1. Direwolves have often won the first game, lost the second, and then gone on to lose the third. What are Direwolves going to be doing before we go to this break? Mendrix, I just want a quick answer from you. What are Direwolves talking about in this break? How to get back in this?
They're going to rotate everyone around and do different rosters. No, specifically what they're going to do is really just make sure they do correct decisions. Everything about that sort of put them on the back foot was them saying, we're going to overcommit for macro plays. And we see that macro plays have never been really their strength. They're always so good at their laning phase. You know what, just focus on what you're good at, continue to keep to your strengths, and then start doing the macro play when you know you've got the advantage that you've built through superior laning phase.
Ejim, do you agree?
Yeah, keeping to your strength. I think put Chippies on a favorable matchup that isn't Shen into Flares likes picking Maokai apparently, so if you get a carry into Maokai, get a good matchup. Put Chippies on something more comfortable, and I think he'll have a better game.
All right, well, there we have it. That is all from us here right now. We're back with Game 3. So who will take this? Direwolves or Sin? We're back right after this.
First one over the wall, but Fantix goes 2-on-1 to pick up the kill. Now looking at Flares. Ultimate coming out of Ryze. Will Flares be able to get away? Fantix still going to be able to lock him down, but he says, let's go. Locks him in the minion wave, and is going to be able to slap him down. Killed up by King as well, but gets taken down. Now King tries to put on his blue suede shoes, but he can't avoid the damage of Juves. The double kill will come out for the jungler. Oh, here they come. Fantix has got a Shen ultimate on top of him, but he's going to get locked down and take it down right away. Shen still gets into the fight, taunts up Wizard. He's going to get healed and tries to kite around. Curtain Call from FBI just trying to lock down remaining members of the Direwolves. Destiny falls in the back lines there. Schönfire jumps in, double kill for FBI. The Carbon Call's coming out. They do get the Baron, but how many can live? Definitely not Schönfire. Fantix is in trouble. Destiny's trying to book it out of there because he wants to keep the buff for his team. They're looking for the fight. Now they go in. Schönfire gets obliterated at the start of the fight, but so do multiple members of Sin. Rogue is going to fall first. King trying to get into the backline. Flares jumps onto Fantix. That might be a huge mistake as he gets taken down next. He's firing off his shots. Chippy's going to try and tank these up, but how many can he take? Destiny eats him up and dies. But Sin looked to try and destroy this one. Here comes the redemptions. Juves is taking a lot of damage, not going to heal back up. Baron falls, Sin get it, and now they turn on the fight. Chippy's this time around gets a good taunt off, locking down Wizard. Destiny will be the first one to fall. Fantix is in so much trouble, does get this standing on as well as a big shield to be able to take down Juves. He will eventually get locked down and take it down on top of that.
Because I could. Because I wanted to. It ain't about the money. It ain't all about the money.